Hello, my name is Haziq Irshad bin HISHAM, Matric number 80620. Today I would like to present part 2 reflection video for Computer Architecture Final Exam Part 1. My expectation from this course is I expect to gain new knowledge about computer hardware and specifications. Moreover, I also expect to get to know how the system in computer works. And lastly, I expect that this course, Computer Architecture, will be one of the hardest course for me to learn during my studies in Unimas. Next is things that I like most and things that I least like about the class. Things that I like most about this class is the vibe that Sir Johari brought before the class starts. Usually before the class starts, Sir Johari will play some trendy and catchy songs like TikTok songs or Hari Raya songs or Gawai songs to refreshen our mind. And Sir Johari also will give some wisdom words and advices to us as students. For the listing that I like, I think there is nothing that I least like about the class. I think that Sir is friendly and approachable to us. Sir also understands our lives as students and told us to enjoy the journey and live it to the fullest. Impact of this class in my daily life as a student. I am able to recognize and compare the specifications and hardware of the computer. Before this, when my friend have a conversation about specification or hardware of the computer, I cannot blend in because I have zero knowledge about specification and also something related about computer. But after I learn this course, computer architecture, I am now able to differentiate between RAM and ROM and also the processor like CPU and also main memory. When my father asked me about the difference between chipsets of the computer, I can tell the difference between Intel chipset and also AMD Ryzen chipset. The most important ideas or concepts learned or skills developed in this class. In my opinion, I think the most important concepts that I learned is there are four classic components of a computer. It is consist of processor, memory, I/O, which is input and output. For processor, it will control the operation of the computer and perform its data processing functions. Main memory will store data. Input and output will move data between the computer and its external environment. Did this course provide me what I had hoped it would? Yes, this course had provided me what I had hoped it would. I get to gain more new knowledge about computer hardware and its specifications from this course. I am also able to differentiate and identify the components of the computer. Besides that, I get to know how the system in computer works as I study this course. And finally, this course, Computer Architecture, is not too hard as I expect before this, and it is really fun and interesting to learn. Question: what do you think of the topics that you have studied in this semester? In my opinion, I think that the topics that I have studied in this semester is very fascinating and interesting to learn. To be honest, the topics is kind of complex as it is my first time in studying and go through into these topics. One of the topics that I find it hard to learn just by hearing the title is Chapter 4, Lecture 4, which is Computer Memory System Overview. But after I go through the topic, I found that it is not too hard to learn and it is actually easier than I thought. I get to know the characteristics of memory systems like location, capacity, and performance. The knowledge or concept that I valued in each lecture and reasons why. First lecture, Introduction to Computer Architecture. The knowledge that I value the most is computer structure. The reason I value this knowledge in the first lecture is because this is the first knowledge that attracts me the most, as this lecture is the first approach of the course in this semester. For the second lecture, Number Systems and Digital Logic, the knowledge that I value the most is basic logic gate. I value this concept because I already learned it since matriculation, so I want to enhance my knowledge in learning basic logic gate and apply it in truth table. For the third lecture, Computer Function and Interconnection, I valued von Neumann architecture. The reason I valued this lecture is because it is one of the main input that is important to go through the other topics in this semester. For the fourth lecture, Computer Memory System Overview, I valued the concept of characteristics of memory systems. This is because I suggest that maybe I will use this knowledge in the future. For the fifth lecture, Internal Memory, I think the knowledge that I valued in this lecture is type of semiconductor memory. I value this knowledge because I can identify and differentiate between the types of semiconductor memory. For sixth lecture, External Memory, the knowledge that I value the most is types of external memory. I value this concept is because this concept is the main knowledge that students need to overview and understand to go through the whole lecture. For lecture 7, which is input and output, the knowledge that I value the most is the learning objectives of the lecture. I value this lecture is because it gives a deep understanding for me in learning and understanding this lecture. For 8th lecture, Operating System Support, the concept that I value the most is operating system services. This is because it is one of the important input to learn during this lecture. For lecture 9, Assembly Language and Computer Arithmetic, I value the purpose of learning assembly language. It is because we can learn how a processor works, understand the basic computer architecture, and understand the execution of instruction. Lecture 10, Instruction Sets, CPU Structure and Function. I valued the concept of CPU structure. This knowledge is important because we need to know what the CPU works on in the instruction sets. And for the final lecture, lecture 11, RISC versus CISC, the knowledge that I value the most is registers versus cache. I value this knowledge is because the term register and cache will be used frequently throughout this lecture. Then by come to this slide, my presentation has come to an end. I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching.